The Wendigo's echo. The air was damp as Jack lowered himself into the mouth of the cave. His headlamp flickered against the black stone, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The expedition had started weeks ago, research on unexplored caves in the northern wilderness, but Jack had never planned for what he was about to encounter. He adjusted his backpack and pulled out his tools: a rope, a pickaxe, a compass, and a map that led deep into the bowels of the earth. According to the old records, the cave extended miles beneath the surface, and no one had ventured this far in decades. Some locals had even warned him off, speaking of strange disappearances. But Jack was a seasoned explorer, not one for superstitions. His footsteps echoed loudly as he descended further, the walls narrowing with each step. A chill grew in the air, one that didn't come from the cold, but something older, more primal. He shivered as a strange whisper seemed to float in the back of his mind. He pushed it aside, focusing on the task at hand. But then something shifted, a scraping sound like claws dragging across rock. Jack froze, his breath catching in his throat. The cave felt alive, watching as though the very earth was breathing with him. He turned but saw nothing, just the flickering light from his headlamp dancing across the jagged walls. He shook his head and continued deeper into the cave. The whispering returned, louder this time. It was a strange guttural sound, as if multiple voices were speaking in unison. Their words indecipherable but full of hunger. Suddenly his foot caught on something sharp, bony, and wet. He gasped and stumbled back, his heart pounding in his chest. The beam from his headlamp caught something glistening on the floor. Bones. Human bones. He took a step back, his mind racing with the grim thought that the legends he had dismissed might have been true. That's when he heard it. A low, deep growl like the rumble of thunder, but closer. Much closer. His pulse quickened. He spun around, his flashlight sweeping the darkness. The shadows seemed to warp around him, stretching unnaturally. And then just at the edge of the light, he saw it. A silhouette, tall, gaunt, and impossibly thin. Its limbs long and twisted in unnatural angles. Its skin was stretched tight over its frame, pale and mottled with patches of raw, exposed muscle. But it was the eyes that struck Jack the hardest, sunken, empty sockets that seemed to pull in all the light, leaving only an endless void. The Wendigo. Frozen in terror, Jack stumbled backward, his legs buckled, sending him crashing to the ground. His breathing was ragged, panic clawing at his chest. The creature moved closer, its form shifting in the darkness, its bones creaking with every step it took. Its lips parted in a grotesque gaping smile, revealing sharp yellowed teeth.